into the next month. She sees what kind of problems could possibly come up and she troubleshoots them from the beginning. So I think that Michalene has a lot to offer in terms of growing a business, setting the foundation from the beginning of your business and really blossoming into amazing success. So without further ado, she's going to tell you a little bit about herself, and I'm turning it over to her. So it is all you, girlfriend.
Hello. I turned my volume up. I hope that you guys can hear me. Good? Okay. Yeah, so Katie is absolutely right that I did lock my keys and everything else in my car. So I did have to borrow her phone to call my sister to bail me out, which I do often. So it might have been a surprise to Katie, but it wasn't a surprise to me that I did that. So first we're going to start with, like she said, how I got started and kind of how that helped me for my business. So like Katie said, I wasn't invited to this. I actually know a lot of people who are coaches, and I was never invited to a challenge group or to be a coach. And I always tease Katie because now that I know what this is about, I kind of wonder like why no one invited me. Like what was wrong with me back then? I don't know. Part of it I think has to do with the fact that my husband was a personal trainer. He is a personal trainer. So we have always tried to live a healthier lifestyle, and I've always been, engaged in working out, and we had fun working out together. So I think that might have had a little bit to do with it. And the reason why I'm telling you guys this is so that when you're setting out for your invites that nobody is off limits. Just because my husband was a personal trainer and I know how to work out doesn't mean that I don't need this. It's a community, it's a support system, and it gets you through it. So I had my second child and I had weaned her from nursing, and like that, my weight came back. It was January, it was the slump. My husband tried writing workouts for me and I was like, yeah, dude, I'm not about to go downstairs in the basement and do this like handwritten workout. Like I have kids, and what I say is, I kind of got lost in the role of being a new mom. So I had let everything and all of my energy go to that. So that's where the first part of it started, is I thought, okay, I need to do something, and I need to do it now. Like, I don't want to take the kids to the gym daycare. I don't want to work out with my husband because that doesn't work. We can do everything together except work out, especially when he's trying to be the trainer. No, like you don't tell me what to do ever. So I needed a workout, and I had been seeing Katie's posts, and at the same time, my life had been changing, and I was at a crossroads in my career, and it was kind of the point where, do I find something that I can continue having a flexible schedule like I had, and I can stay at home and I make my own hours, or do I go into the full-time workforce and figure out what to do with the kids? So at that time, that's whenever I said, okay, I saw a post. And this is why posting about coaching is really, really important too, because I saw Katie's post. It said something, I don't know, along the lines of, after 18 months or however long she'd been in the business, that she had matched her teaching salary. So right there, I was like, done. I knew it was done before Katie knew it was done. So I sent her a message, and she, got into her whole, like, here's what coaching is, like this little, like, nice outline. I'm like, no, I need to meet you tomorrow. Because in my mind, I was like, I'm either doing this or I'm out. Like it was a small window for Katie. If she, like, not saying that if she didn't do it, it wouldn't have happened, but it had to be done. So we met up, and I did give her the whole, I have to go home and talk to my husband, because I just, most people, when you talk to them and they're on the spot like that, they have that feeling that's kind of like, I can't just say yes right now. But I went home and I didn't actually talk to my husband, and I just messaged Katie and said, like, okay, where do I sign? So it was just like that. And I thank God the 21-day fix came out right whenever I started, because that was actually my second program. But anywho, so I started this off as a business. I wasn't really into the whole going through the challenge group thing first. I was in a challenge group. I was more of an observer, I think, because I wanted to see what it was about and like how this could actually work, because I was just used to going to the gym. So I was in her challenge group. I was in a Coach Basics at the time. It was being led by Mel, I think, and I didn't last in Coach Basics. So if you guys have someone who is in your Coach Basics and they're quiet or they're not participating, don't write them off, because I was that person. But I wasn't not doing anything. I was just doing it on the side. I was figuring out what I was going to do. So if you guys are new coaches, I'll tell you about my first challenge group, because that actually is what kind of started me along the right path. So it was actually, I signed the last couple of days in January, and Katie said, you're going to start a cup challenge in February. And I was like, I don't know what that means. And she's like, I'm going to sign you up for it, and it means you have to get as many Success Club points as you possibly can. So I was like, all right, let's roll. And instead of overthinking it or being nervous about it, I just said, okay, because at this point where I was in the business, if I didn't trust Katie and listen to her as my coach, I don't know if I would have actually went down that path. I might still be trying to teach myself everything. So take the info from your upline coach and use it to the best that you can. So I had a challenge group, and it was actually my friends and myself. I was a challenger in it, and I was also leading the group. And it was a wedding party. And it's just sparked because we all went to try on our bridesmaids dresses, and every single girl complained. Either they want to buy a size smaller because, oh my God, don't even put me in a size 8. Or, oh my God, I have so much weight to lose before this wedding. Ooh, I look so disgusting. And I was like, all right, here's what's going down. We are doing this challenge group. Kicking and screaming, some of them still did it though, because I was like, guys, I think that this will be fun and we can chit chat about the wedding in there. So it was fun, and it was actually a really nice bonding experience for the bridesmaids that because we didn't all get to see each other. So that was my first challenge group. So let's fast forward into the real part of this call. So you guys want to know about how to start business builders the right way. So I know that that's everybody's like main thing, is like, how do I get working coaches? Like, how do I get a team of working coaches? So when I started, I went emerald right away. I don't even know, like, I think it might have been like 2 days or something. I don't even know. Because I said, okay, how do we get started? And Katie's like, there's this emerald thing, hit Success Club. I'm like, done. So I actually signed my husband and my sister as my first 2 coaches. And here is a very important part of this for everybody who gets nervous about signing their husband. Sean would not drink Shakeology. So we did not need 2 Shakeology orders. He's the type that he's a supportive husband in the sense that he supports me and trusts that what I'm doing in this business is right. He does not support or help me in the business at all. He won't talk about it to people. He doesn't promote it. It's my thing. So I signed him up, and I bought a challenge pack with his name, so that made him active. So my first agenda for his business was to get him a customer, because then he would remain as an active coach to keep me emerald. So I put 1 customer under him to give him the PV that he needed after. So this was 5 weeks after. So I had my sister and my husband first. And as I built my business, I knew that, I wanted to eventually build his as well, but I couldn't at the time. So Sean actually went inactive for a little bit, his business center. However, we kept paying the coach fee, so he kept his spot on my team. So he's at the very top of my weak leg right now. So for those of you who are nervous about doing that, or think, I can't, or my husband's not going to drink it, or how are we going to afford 2 bags of Shakeology? You don't have to. But it's important now in my business that Sean is where he's at, because now he is a diamond coach, and I can place coaches under him as well, so that we are in essence double cycling. So getting your coaches started right. So coming back to that, everybody wants to know, like, how do you get business building coaches? So my first couple of coaches were challengers. But I did just come right out and say, like, hey, I'm doing this new thing. I mean, everybody knows what Beachbody is pretty much, that I know of. So I just came out and said, like, I'm a coach. If you want to join a challenge group, if you'd like to know more about the opportunity. And what that did by doing that early on is it set the tone for people who were watching to see that I am here for the opportunity as a business as well, not just the challenges. So it wasn't like I had been doing this and 6 months later, I'm all of a sudden promoting to become a coach, because then, that's fine. And I know a lot of people do that are just getting started and might be a discount coach turned into a working coach. But that set the tone for me. So if you're coming into this business as a business building coach, as a working coach, you have to let people know that right away, so that they know that you're here to help them grow business as well, and not just as a challenger. Because they may see a post, one of your friends might see a post similar to Katie's and know, okay, she knows what's going on. Like, look what she did in this short amount of time. I'm going with her. So not to make you nervous about, people going to other coaches, but that's just a thought. So when I do get someone who's interested in building the business, the first thing that we do is we establish their intentions. So are you planning on being a discount coach? Are you planning on being a hobby coach? Or are you planning on being a business builder? It doesn't matter, like, long term, what ends up happening. Whatever they tell you that day are the intentions that you need to take and start to go with. And it could change. I mean, 2 weeks later, they might say, oh my gosh, like, I had no idea what I was saying when I wanted to be a discount coach. I want to work this business, or vice versa. So you want to make sure that you set the intentions first with that coach. So then that helps you to set the direction and tone of where you're going to take this next. So if they're a business builder, obviously they're going to go into the next coach basics. If they're a discount coach, they might just chill out in a challenge group one more time. But here's one thing that I know a lot of new coaches are afraid to do, and you're afraid to, like, overwhelm them. And I don't mean word vomit where you're just spewing stuff and their, like, head is spinning. I'm talking about you get nervous that you're going to overwhelm them with too much information, they're going to run away. You got to do these new coaches a solid and give them this information, because I have had coaches who said they want to be a discount coach. I didn't tell them about success starters. I didn't tell them about Emerald. And next thing you know, 2 months down the line, they want to be a business building coach, and they're not eligible for success starters anymore. So as long as you have told them that, then you've given them everything that you can at the beginning to help them make that decision. So make sure that you tell them about success starters, Emerald, and how to get their shakes for free. So instead of using the word success club with them, since they don't know what that is, you can say, I'm going to tell you or show you how you can get your shakes for free. And that is 3 customers, which equals Success Club 6. So right there, they hit Success Club. So with my business builders, I try to get them to get started, and I try to have them go Emerald and hit Success Club and cover their shakes all in one stone's throw, because it's the easiest way of doing it, and it keeps them engaged. So when someone starts off like that and they right away make a little bit of commission, they right away hit Success Club, so they get a shout out, they right away get an Emerald shout out, and they're eligible for those cycle bonuses if there's volume there, they're super engaged right away. You want to see it. If you're coming in as a business, you want to see a little bit of money, even if it's the $50 that you get for fast tracking somewhere, $40 or whatever. I don't even know how much it is. 40, 50. Let's just say 50. So that's like a sweet little paycheck, So like, I make sure that they get that, because if they start as a business builder, they're like, okay, I'm coming into this, I'm like a bull out of the pen, I'm ready to go. And week goes by, no money. Another week goes by, nothing. Another week, like by the 3rd week, they're like, I'm bored, or I'm not gonna be able to do this. I can't. Whether they can or can't, they're gonna think that. So as their coach, you need to get them started that way. So that kind of goes into the part about the teamwork and how to build a team and not just a working coach who's going to quit after a little bit, which it does happen. And please learn from my mistakes and anybody else's mistakes, that if you have someone who says they're going to be a business builder and their actions and their words are not aligning, go at their speed and keep moving. Don't dwell on them. Don't feel bad, because it's really hard not to. But if you feel bad, it's going to stall you, because that has happened where I had coaches that I wanted it for them more than they wanted it for them. And I spent so much time and effort there. And then I realized too late down the road that like all of that time and effort could have been going to other places that were more important for my business at the time. So whenever you get started in this is a business, and it's your own business. So if Katie's your upline, or me or Taylor or whoever, like, it's not our business that you're signing for, it's your own. So whenever you get started, you have to make sure that you're talking to your upline coach, obviously, because they're here for help, but you have to make sure that you're building your business. You're figuring this stuff out on your own too. So there's nobody that says like you can't go look it up on your own. You can't go faster than Coach Basics. You can do whatever you want to do. So whenever it comes to the team, the way that I do it and we do it and my leaders do it is we show instead of tell, because it's easier for us. It's easier for our coaches to understand. When you're showing instead of telling, you are giving them the steps of how you're doing things, how things are done. So I could sit here and tell my coaches to hit Success Club every single month or hit Success Club 10. But unless I'm showing them how to do it, you're not going to get anywhere, because in this business, you're not a boss. You're a mentor. You're a friend. So with our team, the way that I look at it is there is no like pecking order. So we have a system where, everybody that's ready to step up to be a leader is a leader. So you want to lead a challenge group, go for it. You want to lead a Coach Basics group, here's the outline. So I don't hold them back. We don't hold each other back. And we talk amongst ourselves as a team. So, I don't feel offended if one of my personally sponsored coaches is talking to one of my other personally sponsored downline or whatever it is. So everybody's here for ideas and to help each other and to push each other and to thrive. So if you find someone who pushes you in life, it doesn't have to be a Beachbody coach or anybody on your team. It could be a mentor, an old coworker, a sibling. Find that person who pushes you to do better and talk to them about it, like work things out with them, like bounce ideas off of each other, because sometimes hearing it from an outsider and someone outside of Beachbody really can put it into perspective for you. So like I have a couple of friends, like I'll say like, or what do you guys think of these posts? Like, do you think that they're effective? If it was you looking at it, like, would you think that you want to do this? Or would you think I'm like batshit nuts? Or I try to not swear and I said a swear word. That crap crazy. So that will really help you to get a grasp on it. So whenever they get started, I show them how to hit Success Club. I show them how to get Emerald. And if we set a deadline, so if we say, okay, 2 weeks, you're going to be Emerald, you're going to hit Success Club your first month, and you're going to get Success Starters in the call with Carl Degler. If that time comes and they haven't hit their goal, then it's time to regroup, talk to that coach again, and find out what's going on. So just say, it looks like, it's okay. You didn't hit your goal. I didn't hit my goal. So I that's another thing I always do for my coaches is I always tell them my challenges as well, because I'm not some crazy goddess on a pedestal Beachbody coach at all. So it's important for your coaches to understand, their struggles, and each level of coaching has struggles. They might be the same. You might have the same exact problem going on that one of your coaches has going on. So I always share with them my struggles. So just the same way as, you know, giving them the keys of the kingdom at the beginning, like here's access to everything you need, whatever is mine is yours, and vice versa. Same thing with issues and how to overcome them. So I always try to talk to them and say, you know, if you didn't hit your goal, like, why do you feel that didn't happen? And then together we can come up with an idea. So it's good too to always have fresh ideas, and don't think anything is a dumb idea, because I don't think well, I have had dumb ideas, but there's never been an idea that I haven't tried. And if it ends up not working, then can it and go on to the next one. But at least you tried it. So that's the part where, you know, an idea is great, but a plan is effective. So when you come up with an idea, make a plan. So one of my coaches, you know, she's trying to rank advance to diamond, and she has some new coaches. So I said, okay, how about we get all of our coaches to emerald? I have new coaches too. So instead of opening up like a big group, we just had 4 of those new coaches and us 2. And it was a really calm, like relaxing group. It wasn't very structured. It wasn't any pressure. We were just talking and sharing with them how we went emerald and what they can do and ideas. And out of that group, some of those coaches went emerald. And then the ones that didn't, you know, here we are this week again, working on the same goal, figuring out where they could have changed last week, or maybe they're overcoming some of the objections. So setting the tone is really, really important for those business builders whenever you're getting started, because you want to make sure that you have set the bar of expectations, I guess. I mean, you want to give them up front, that's another thing up front, is give them your expectations of a new coach and have them give you the expectations of their mentor. So, you know, don't be afraid to push them. You know, I heard a call the other day. It was from Carly Del Carlo. She's in the top 10. And, you know, she said she takes no excuses. And I think that's one thing that an upline coach gets a little bit nervous about for many reasons, that you don't want to push your downline coach. They might just need that. And I don't mean pushing your goals on them. I mean, when they're trying to go for a goal, you just giving them that extra shove to do it. Because she said, you know, when they come to her and say like, I can't hit Success Club, I'm at Success Club 4, and it's the last day of the month. She's like, I'm not having it. She said, I think she's told them that they have to submit a list of 300 names to her or something like crazy. So don't take that as a way of just backing down and being like, okay, you know, that really stinks. No, there's one thing you do not do in Beachbody. You do not end the month on Success Club 4. You just don't. You can't. You just can't. You can't do it. Like Success Club 2 or 3, maybe that happens, but you don't ever, ever end on Success Club 4. And with Success Club, that's another thing. So when you're setting your goals, when you're writing out your monthly goals, Success Club should not be a goal. Success Club should be a given. Your goal should be a number. Your goal should be a date. I don't want to see, you know, July goals, Success Club, 1 business building coach, I don't know, 2 challengers or whatever. No, Success Club is not one of them. You put an actual number and then a date on that number. And your date should be close to the beginning of the month. Because what I like to do is get my goal out of the way, and then I can focus on my team's goals. So if I hit Success Club by the 10th, let's just say, so my number is always 10 or more. And I've hit 10 or more every single month since I started, except for 1 month last year. And it was just as bad as Success Club 4. It was Success Club 9. Like I literally, I don't know what I did. I don't know what I did that night, but I was very sad. But that's my number. So Success Club 10 and I look at the calendar. It's not always just the 10th. So look at the calendar and see where there's a Wednesday night that maybe it's the 12th or something. So I hit that. And then my next goal is, okay, I go and I look at my downline. Which one of my coaches aren't here yet? Which one of them haven't hit their goal yet? Like, how are we going to work together to get them to Success Club as well? Because that's just a given goal for everybody. So just assume that. So it's okay as an upline coach or as a leader to assume things. Assume that's their goal. Assume that they want to hit this. And then if they tell you no, then it's okay. And believe me, I'm not like this crazy, like drill sergeant by any means. My coaches, like we just have this understanding of what each of us is doing and we roll with it. There was another thing I just thought of and now it escaped my mind. It was with Success Club. Shoot. Well, anywho, so the Success Club needs to just be an automatic goal. And then also set goals for yourself that have to do with your coaches. So if you know that one of your coaches wants to rank advance, or you know that one of your coaches is struggling with whatever, you focus on helping them with that. And then my last point is when it comes to your strengths and weaknesses, I feel like a lot of coaches, and I've been guilty of this before too, focus on the weakness so much. So you think of where you're slacking or what's hard for you or what your biggest challenge is. And then you just focus on that. Like, I have to get personal development that's with confidence. And it's all the same. Or I'm so bad with time management. I have to focus on time management. Yes, you do want to focus on what you consider a weakness to strengthen that. But at the same time, you need to play on your strengths. So think of something that you do like to do. So, if you're a good written communicator, start writing out all your scripts and share them with your coaches. If you are a good public speaker or you like to be on the phone, make more videos for your coaches. So play on whatever it is that you're strong with. Like if you're the one who, brings in the music and you're here to pump the party and help everybody, make sure that's what you're doing. If you are the time management queen, like share those tips with your whole team, not just your downline. Share them with, your whole team, because that helps you to strengthen your strengths even more. And when you're sharing information with them, they're going to be sharing information with you. So I find that listening to a call from another coach is much more effective personal development than sitting down and trying to read a book. I mean, that's just kind of how I roll. But at the same time, it's always effective. I like to hear stories and I like to see how other people overcame problems rather than just highlighting in a textbook and trying to figure it out for myself, because that's just the type of learner that I am. So focus on your strengths too, not just your weaknesses. Double thumbs up.
All right. I am actually going to open it up to questions because I actually thought the call was so good. So much valuable information. So the one thing though that you mentioned a little bit about that I kind of want to talk about is, can you just talk a little bit more about the signing of a spouse? Because that's always such a hard thing for people to understand. So if you have a coach who is financially struggling and they've signed up as a coach and they've invested this money in their challenge pack, how do you go about in a sensitive way talking to them about signing their spouse too? Or do you kind of like get a feel for if it feels right? Or do you just say it?
I always suggest it, and it's more of a suggestion, I guess, or more of a, learn, like watch what I did type of thing, rather than, you have to do this or you should do this, because I totally understand that the financial part of it can be tough. So when Sean got his challenge pack, believe me, from the man who wants nothing to do with Beachbody, do you really think he's going to be buying another challenge pack within like a couple of weeks? No, he did not. So what I did was I decided to get, and it was a 21-day fix. Thank goodness I signed him up as a coach. So I got the fixed challenge pack with the sample pack boxes. And what I explained to him was, number one, the sample pack boxes are going to be a write-off because I'm going to give them as samples. Number two, when I invested in my challenge pack and told myself I'm going to cover the cost of that investment with 3 customers, I told him the same thing. So whether those customers went to me or him, it's obviously still income for our family. So I said to him, and it was the cup month, so I'm glad Katie made me do that. I was like, look, I'm going to sign you up and I'm going to do the same thing I did for myself. I'm going to set a goal that within 2 weeks, I'm going to have that paid off. So within 2 weeks, I had both of our challenge packs paid off because that's just the goal that I set for myself and for him to make it okay to spend that extra money to sign him up. I mean, you can't always sign them up with just the $40 and then make them active, but from a whole perspective, you want those Success Club points. You want that fast track bonus. You want another program. Like, it's nice to have more than one program to refer to when you're talking to customers as well. Plus the sample packs were great. You know, that's a great opening thing to talk to people about. You can charge for them. You can give them out, whatever you want to do. But I actually did something where I just said, like, you know, hey, I'm mailing out samples, even though I wasn't. I'm mailing out samples, whoever wants in on this, and a couple people did, and then that leads to more customers. So the investment of signing your spouse in the whole, like, realm of the whole picture is 100% worth it, because now, you know, I have Sean as a diamond on my weak leg.
Yeah. Yeah. I think sometimes people too, I don't know if you've seen it with your team, but they get nervous about it. Like, they're kind of doing this hokey pokey with the business, and they're not quite sure if they're like, I want to build it as a business or I don't want to build it as a business. So my question for you is, did you ever have moments where you were kind of doing the hokey pokey, or was it just, nope, this is business. Like, this is my business. There's no going back kind of thing.
No, I haven't done the hokey pokey with it. I've always been all in. There have been times where I questioned myself, but it's the type of thing that it passed. Like, it's not something I let myself think of. Like, this is a decision that I made. This is something I really love to do. It's changed me as a person and my family and my life in so many ways that how could I just be half in and half out, especially from starting off strong and, you know, getting a team going. And believe me, I will tell you that last July is whenever I really questioned what am I doing? Like, should I be a coach? Maybe I should just go back to coaching some challengers. But because my team, and this is something that's really important for new coaches to understand, that it's not always going to go as smoothly as you plan. So you can plan as much as you want, but there's going to be times where there's rough roads. And if I would have thrown in the towel last July, whenever I thought about it, where would we be now? Not on this call. We would not be on this call. I would have missed out on a lot of really enjoyable moments in my life. So I'm glad that I pushed through, and I think that all coaches need to understand that, you know, on the other side of rough times is a sunshine with some rainbows and some other stuff.
All right, guys, let's open it up to you. So do you guys have questions for Michalene? And I am assuming with Michalene, there is nothing that is off the, what's the word? Like, off the
limits
table? Nothing's off the table. Am I saying that right? I might be saying that all wrong.
I don't know, but I'm not showing you my cards.
Cards. No.
Questions, anybody?
This is a really great time for you to ask questions, because, you know, Michalene has she's creating a strong powerhouse team. So if you have questions, especially about if you're a new coach, Success Club, why it actually matters, or, you know, how to motivate your coaches, she is the one to ask. So either type them in the chat or unmute yourself, and don't be shy, because
now or never, because I will not respond if you send me a message. I just won't do it.
it's not true.
Just kidding. I will. If it's something really personal that you need to know, you can send me a private message.
I'll ask you a question.
Who's that? Oh, Taylor. Just kidding. What?
So I know that we've talked about this before, but I just like to hear other people's perspectives. When your coaches and your downline set a goal and maybe they don't reach it by that goal date or they're super bummed out, how do you motivate them? How do you like pick them back up? Do you set a new date or what do you do with them?
Yeah, so we do set a new date. I first like to just see what's going on. So whenever I said before, assume stuff with your coaches, don't assume why they didn't hit their goal, because you never know. Like with this business, and especially what we see of this business, like on Facebook and stuff, like for the most part, it's always the good stuff. So you don't know exactly what was going on that week. Like there have been times that I didn't hit my goal and it was completely non-related to business. There was, stuff going on or whatever, I don't know, like just other reasons. So first I try to talk to them. So that's another thing I like to do with my coaches is build an actual like friendship and like relationship with them and get to know them as well as on a business level. So I'll just say, what happened? Like, why do you think you didn't hit that goal? And then we just come up with a plan, a new plan. So it's not, pushing like, you told me you were going to do it. Like, why didn't you do it? No, like I just assume that their reason for not doing it is a good reason because I know that they wanted that goal. And if they didn't and they were just feeding me BS and I know that, then, I'll pull back a little bit and say, okay, maybe we'll regroup in a couple of weeks whenever you're a little bit more focused on it, because that happens too. Like, I know that, you want to please as a coach, for the most part, everybody has a few things in common. And one of them is that we are people pleasers in general, because we're here to help people. We like to push people to their goals. So we don't want to let down anybody. So someone that you verbalize a goal to, your upline coach or a friend, like you don't want to let that person down just as much as you don't want to let yourself down. So if they're telling you that they want to hit this goal and they're not doing anything about it, then that kind of gives you the idea that, okay, I'm going to just step back. But if they do want to, it's like, don't skip a beat. If you didn't hit that goal, so what? We have a whole nother week. You're going to do it by next Wednesday night. We're going to hit this goal. You're going to be amazing. And then we talk about like, the perks of it. Like if there's an incentive going on, we'll say, hey, this diamond t-shirt's still up for grabs, or you can still do this or do that. So I do incentivize my team sometimes whenever we're all pushing, but it's a team-wide thing usually too. So we'll go back to that type of stuff.
I have a question.
Hi.
This has to do with Summit. I remember last year you were totally on the fence about Summit, and I remember just messaging you to go. So, how do you think that changed your business by going to Summit?
So, okay, that actually is a great question, because I wasn't going to go. I was justifying in my mind over and over, like a million things of like why I shouldn't go. Like, oh, I can live stream it. Who cares? Like, it's just an event. I have to leave my family. It was the first time I was leaving my kids ever, like for a long time. So I'm glad that I decided to go. Some persuasion helped, and going on that Deep Creek retreat helped as well. But going to Summit changed it solidified my view of what I thought this was all about. So going there and seeing those, I think, how many were there last year? 9,000 people?
Yeah,
maybe,
it was like
something like
8 or
that.
9. Yeah.
My first reaction was, holy crap, everyone and their mother's a Beachbody coach. Holy crap. But then I saw this, and it was like everybody there was just like friends, and it was like, it wasn't like a weird competitive feeling. You got to hear from coaches that aren't on your team, you've never even met, like you might have heard of them on the National Wake Up Call. You get to see the celebrity trainers, and for the most part, one of those trainers has a serious effect on your life. So you get to see them and you get to hear other people who had success stories. So the success stories like really got me like a lot in several ways. So one of them was, it's such an amazing moment and you see those people up there accepting this reward. But then on the flip side, like they're getting $100,000 for this transformation. Their coach is getting $20,000. And I was like, holy crap. And then when the woman said, I just want all of you coaches to know that I was a lead in her inbox. That's when jaw dropped. I was like, what? So the woman who won the $100,000 never knew her coach before she started this journey. She was a Beachbody lead and her coach connected and she had this amazing transformation. And that's whenever I was like, dude, this is awesome. Plus I'm a yellow, so I totally like fun stuff. And it was a lot of fun. Like we had a lot of fun. We got to go out, we did that closing party and it was a great time. So I think what that did was, you know, I came back knowing, you know what, I made the right decision. This is it. Rocky road or not. Till death do us part.
I don't know if it's fair for me to ask a question because I have
Oh,
access
Hannah,
to you.
come on. This is Hannah.
Well,
she's one of my coaches.
And I'm being a creeper in the dark. So
Yeah, I see that.
I have one of my newer coaches, you know, I'm trying to really work with her because she says she's excited to be in the business, but she just doesn't respond to me. And this just might be a stupid question, but how do you know when to pull back? Like I'm messaging her and checking in even just about normal everyday things. And I can tell she reads them, but
Yeah.
the last 5 have just been no response. And I just don't, how do you motivate them and be there for them, but then not stalk them either?
I just stalk them. No, I think that there's a couple of things going on with that. So one, I do have all of my coaches take the color code test, all of them, just because I think it's fun. And I want to find other people that are similar to me in this business. But at the same time, it does give you an insight. And it's not a way of analyzing or manipulating or anything like that, but it gives you an insight to the type of person they are, because they might act a completely different way to you than their color is showing. I mean, I know that I don't come off as a yellow at all. So, I mean, if you guys didn't know that, you'd never know. But there are some. So I think finding out, you know, what type of personality she has is a good thing. And then also with certain coaches, and I think this is the case with her, is she thrives in the group setting. She participates in the group. So maybe, you know, her one-on-one, like depending on what's going on, like she might read it and forget or not get back to you right away or be thinking about it. Or maybe she doesn't want to, like I said earlier, disappoint you. Like maybe she doesn't want to report, you know, hey, I'm kind of struggling with this. But in the group setting where it's a little bit more relaxed, I guess, or like everybody's checking in. So like maybe have another small group like the one that we had with the Emerald one, where it's not as official team page and it's not, you know, so structured. Like sometimes they just need a little bit of like chill, like, you know, this is a business, but it's also like doesn't have to be completely life consuming in order to make it work at all. So, I mean, hopefully that helps, but
No, it does.
I mean, some people like the group and some people like the one-on-one.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that color code test too. If you don't know what that test is, I'm going to actually post it into the Knockout Brigade tonight in case you haven't taken it. But yes, that was a really, really good point too. So it's about 10 o'clock, so I am going to close out the call.